Warning: this video contains content that may disturb you and challenge your perception of reality. Ensure you're in a safe space before you continue. Hello, and welcome to Horror Flix. I'm Charlie. Tonight we're going through some of the most unsettling clips circulating online. They say truth is stranger than fiction, but this YouTuber uncovered something so dark, she vanished.
In 2015, Paranormal Anna was a true crime YouTuber who saw wide success, amassing over 50,000 subscribers in a relatively short amount of time, until seemingly her channel just vanished. But to fully understand this story, we have to go back and look at one of Alana's final videos about the case of Kendrick Johnson. Now, Kendrick Johnson was a 17-year-old high school student from Valdosta, Georgia, who was found dead in a rolled-up gym mat at Lowndes High School in 2013. His first autopsy ruled his death to be accidental, citing that he fell into the mat while reaching for his shoes and suffocated. However, his family didn't buy that story and requested a second autopsy. But I'll let Alana explain with a clip from her last video.
During the first autopsy, the internal organs were removed and examined before being returned for burial, which is the standard for autopsies. However, when the private pathologist who conducted the second autopsy on Johnson opened up the teen's remains, the brain, heart, lungs, liver, and other organs were missing. Every single organ from the pelvis to the skull was gone and had been replaced with newspaper.
Now, this led to the Johnsons family finding many other pieces of the case mishandled. And in the years since, they filed multiple civil lawsuits against individuals in the county for a conspiracy to cover up a homicide, including one of Kendrick's fellow students named Brian Bell, whose father at the time was an FBI agent, alleging that they conspired to cover up his murder. And coincidentally, shortly after Paranormal Anna posted this video, she began receiving death threats. And she also believed that people were stalking her, with one of her old tweets reading, "Had a pretty scary stalking incident, so unfortunately, I'm having to change the way I run my social media. No more Facebook." And another tweet read, my one uncle is a cop, the other two are criminal lawyers. Violently threatening me online will always turn out bad for you. However, in 2023, she did reactivate her YouTube account and posted an update. But this was short-lived, and after a few days, she deactivated her YouTube account once again. This has led many of her fans to believe that this was not coincidence. And so, the speculation continues. But I'm curious about this one. What do you think?
Missing organs, replaced with newspaper. This wasn't just a case gone wrong. This was a warning. And maybe Alana got too close. Watch this closely.
Hello?
Hello. I'm sorry to bother you, but there is a creepy guy who's been following me for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah?
Can I stay at your place until he's gone?
Yeah, come in.
Thank you.
Are you okay?
I just hope he didn't see me coming here.
Yeah? Hello? I was all crumpled in my life. We had a little argument and I lost the sight of her. Yeah? Have you seen the woman by any chance? No, I'm sorry. Blue eyes. No, sorry, bye. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure.
That wasn't a coincidence. Two strangers, one lie, and a door that should have never been opened.
Dapat kawan baru na. Woi, lagi santai kawan. Pakai. Ela dunia kawan santai. Pakai. Kawan. Well.
That reaction wasn't fake. Whatever they saw wasn't supposed to be there. And now it might be following them.
All this woman ever wanted was fame, and in the end, she got it in the most horrific way. Mona Fandey was an aspiring musician in Malaysia, but when her music career failed, she turned to witchcraft. Mona and her husband were actually quite successful in this business and had many elite customers. In July of 1993, a politician sought the help of Mona and her husband. He wanted help boosting his political career. He arrived at Mona's house at 10 p.m. just as he was instructed and was brought to a room where a cleansing ritual would take place. During this ritual, the politician was instructed to lay face up, close his eyes, and picture money falling from the sky. And while he lays there with his eyes closed, picturing money falling from the sky, an axe does instead. Mona's assistant swings an axe 3 times before finally separating the politician's head from his body. He is then partially skinned and chopped up into 18 precise pieces. Mona then steals the politician's money and goes on a shopping spree. She buys luxury clothing, a brand new Mercedes-Benz, and gets herself a facelift. After failing to show up to several business meetings, the politician is reported missing. Soon after, Mona's assistant is stopped by police on totally unrelated charges, but tells officers what they had done. The assistant leads police to a shed on Mona's property where the politician's remains were buried, but they don't find all 18 pieces of him, leaving some to speculate that Mona and her husband ate them. Mona, her husband, and her assistant are all arrested and charged with the unaliving, which carries an automatic execution in Malaysia. For every hearing, Mona showed up in bright, colorful clothing and always had a huge smile on her face. She even signed autographs for the crowds gathering outside. Mona had finally gotten the fame that she had always dreamed of. When she was sentenced to death, her response was, quote, "I'm happy with the decision. I want to thank all Malaysians. I love all the people." And just before she was executed, her last words were, "I will never die."
She wanted to be remembered, and now she is, for all the wrong reasons. You think AI is still a thing of the future? Watch this.
AI is coming for your job, and sooner than you think.
The way we McDonald's may be changing forever.
Is Amazon replacing their employees with robots?
As you see, we're building this robot that installs shingles on the roof.
House building robot developed in Germany.
What sort of jobs would be lost to AI?
Anyone who does driving for a living, a chef, waiter, a lot of things will become automated.
AI to search for microscopic signs of the disease, catch tumors before they develop.
This is not happening in the future, it's happening right now. From classrooms to construction sites, from hospital wards to Wall Street, AI is being installed faster than any technology in human history. And it's not just replacing workers, it's outperforming them by a mile. These are the areas the experts warn are going to get hit the hardest, the soonest. Healthcare is number one. AI diagnostic systems are now beating human doctors in detecting cancer, predicting heart conditions, and reading X-rays. One study, AI caught breast cancer 5 years before human radiologists could. 5 years! And with tools like DeepMind's AlphaFold revolutionizing protein mapping, the drug discovery process is going full automation also. How long before your next checkup comes with a download button? Construction and trades is also getting hit pretty hard. Right now, China's building homes with no human labor at all. Robotic arms, 3D concrete printers, and autonomous diggers are already on job sites today. Japan's aging population has accelerated full-scale adoption of humanoid construction bots. In Boston Dynamics, they're not just dancing anymore. They're lifting, moving, stacking, and learning. They're due to be in factories any minute. The days of high-vis vests are truly numbered.
Is Amazon replacing their employees with robots?
Amazon is replacing warehouse workers with fully automated systems. Call centers are being gutted by voice AI. They're more polite, less unionized. And self-checkouts, that was just the beta test. McDonald's is piloting fully AI-run stores. No humans, just screens, bots, and digital payments. There's also something I covered last week, AI teachers. Alpha School in the US is already using AI tutors for one-on-one education. Kids study 2 hours a day with AI, then spend the rest of the day on life skills. And they're outperforming public school students easily. No teachers, no homework, just AI. Finance and legal is getting hit pretty hard too. Goldman Sachs cut thousands of jobs in its trading division because AI now does the trades faster, more accurate, and they don't require a bonus. And law firms are next. Contract analysis, case law search, legal drafting, all being handed off to AI as we speak. In one test, an AI passed the United States bar exam. Let that sink in.
It's not science fiction anymore. It's survival. The question isn't if AI takes your job. It's when. You've heard of zombies from The Last of Us. But what if the real version is already here?
Turns out there's a fungus that eats you from the inside, and it could spread because of rising temperatures. This article went as far as to make comparisons to The Last of Us. Scientists from Manchester University forecasted the potential spread of fungi that cause a life-threatening disease that affects the lungs. They found that certain species will expand their range into new parts of North America, Europe, China, and Russia. Now, for people with certain lung issues like asthma and COPD, breathing in these spores can be problematic. The condition has high mortality rates, 20 to 40%, and according to one of the researchers, it is difficult to diagnose. More bad news, fungal pathogens are also becoming more resistant to treatment.
What the This isn't just creepy fiction anymore. It's real, it's deadly, and it's airborne.
Do you remember these books from your childhood, the McGraw-Hill science textbooks? I mean, this company published all sorts of textbooks for elementary through high school kids, and I definitely remember reading some of these in my classes. But did you know that one of the companies that published these books was owned by Ghislaine Maxwell's father? If you don't know Ghislaine, she was Jeffrey Epstein's business partner, and she helped run his massive sex trafficking operation. She was the madam in the operation and would recruit girls into his terrible ring. But we're not really here to talk about her. We're here to talk about Robert Maxwell, her father. Now, Robert was an extremely wealthy British businessman. So in 1984, after Robert Maxwell had already acquired a lot of wealth, he purchased a publishing group. This group included publications in newspapers like the Daily Mirror, which is still in existence. I mean, there is a lot to uncover about Robert Maxwell. He was best friends with a lot of British royals. He rubbed elbows with celebrities, with the elite. And like I said before, he was extremely wealthy. He even had a massive private yacht that he nicknamed the Lady Ghislaine after his daughter. Now, with all of these powerful connections, there has to be some sort of controversy, right? Well, for decades, it's been alleged that Robert Maxwell was actually a spy. And people don't really know which intelligence agency he worked for the most, but he has ties to the Russian KGB, the British intelligence service MI6, and the Israeli intelligence service, the Mossad. People have alleged that Robert Maxwell was actually a triple or double agent, meaning that he might have been sharing information between 3 different Secret Service organizations. Obviously, this showed that he didn't really have anybody that he worked for in particular, he just chased the money and the power. It's very strange that his blood daughter Ghislaine would end up being directly involved with one of the biggest sex trafficking rings in world history. Now, you can read a lot about Robert Maxwell's supposed spying. One fact that I found interesting was that 6 former and current heads of Israeli intelligence attended his funeral, but his death was extremely suspicious. So in November of 1991, he went sailing on his private yacht, he disappeared, and just a few days later, his completely nude body was found washed up. According to people that examined Robert's body, there was a graze on his shoulder, but there were no other noticeable injuries. But something strange is that when experts took a look at his body, nobody could conclusively say exactly how he died. And the official statement said that he may have had a heart attack and then drowned as he was urinating nude on the side of his yacht. Years later, though, a lot of different things would come out about Robert, including the fact that he bugged a lot of devices and rooms that his own employees were in because he felt like they were being disloyal and he couldn't trust anybody. His own sons even came out and said that while they didn't know exactly what had happened to him, they knew that he didn't take his own life because he wouldn't do that, and he had talked about how he would never do that. So obviously, this is just unbelievably bizarre how this all ties into Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, that whole saga. And I feel like it's something that a lot of people don't talk about and the government really hasn't looked into. And back to the beginning, I can't ever really look at one of these books the same again.
Yeah, childhood just got a whole lot creepier.
I read that you felt that the government was deliberately spraying cold germs in subways, was deliberately trying to make people ill with the AIDS virus? This is pretty serious stuff. Do you really feel that?
Well, that's a good question. Well, I'm with Barbara Walters now. Oh, that's a serious one. Okay, so I got to, now, because people are going to chase me after this. People are going to chase me. I believe that it is quite highly possible that the AIDS virus is a result of genetic warfare testing.
By American agents?
Absolutely.
Well, why
am I a conspiracy theorist? I'm a conspiracy theorist, aren't I?
That's not just conspiracy talk. That's calling out biological warfare on national television. And the wild part, people are still debating if he was actually onto something. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Horror Flix for more real shows. And drop a comment below telling me which clip messed with your head the most. Trust me, we're just getting started.